another show. The casino issue must pass, and it must pass this time around. Don't give the smug, self-serving George Voinoviches of the world the opportunity to ride off into the sunset as he leaves the United States Senate, thinking that he has once again defeated progress and growth over some misplaced sense of ethical and moral superiority to the rest of us. Let's get it done this time. 727 on the Big One News Radio, WTAM 1100.
This is Bob Frantz on News Radio, WTAM 1100.
This whole campaign that's been funded against Issue 3 has been funded by a casino operator who I believe was from Cleveland originally, but I think moved most of his business out of Cleveland, Jeff Jacobs, who owns a casino in West Virginia, who gets most of his business from Ohio citizens.
That's Cavaliers owner Dan Gilbert, one of the most vocal supporters right in the middle of this entire Issue 3, the new campaign to bring casino gambling to the state of Ohio. And right here in the city of Cleveland, he says, you know what, we need a vital downtown area.
You know, you want to be able to attract that kind of person, and you have to have a great, exciting kind of synergy of threads going on. I mean, all the threads have got to connect. We are competing against other cities for our best and brightest coming out of the universities, entrepreneurs, whoever, and we've got to create a culture and environment where they want to thrive and they can be excited about it, and we have to do that.
He's exactly right, you know. Dan Gilbert was speaking to Wilson Snyder yesterday morning, and I'll tell you what, I'm glad to hear somebody calling him out. And by him, I'm talking about Jeff Jacobs, and I'm talking about all of the others who are part of this Truth PAC organization to try to confuse and spread misinformation about the number of jobs that Issue 3 would create, the economic vitality that would result from this. Dan Gilbert is calling people out.
So he's funding a No on Issue 3 campaign, and frankly making up lies on the commercials. So that's just too bad.
And joining me to talk about it right now is Pat Manzi. He's the Executive Secretary-Treasurer of the Columbus and Central Ohio Building and Construction Trades Council, and he is a vocal supporter of Issue 3. Pat, how are you this evening?
All right.
I appreciate you spending some time with us. These ads, I got to tell you, every time I watch them, I know the truth because I've done a little bit of homework on it, and I know what the issue says, and I know what the claims are, and I know where the 34,000 job figure comes in. But when I watch those spots, to people who don't do their homework, Pat, I think they can be very effective, especially when they talk about the studies done by the casino proponents saying that at no time 34,000 people will be hired. They're doing a very good job of misleading people.
They certainly are, and this is a classic political lie. You know, a lot of people have used it over the years. If you repeat it enough times, pretty soon it sticks in someone's mind. The University of Cincinnati was commissioned to do a study. They said 34,000 jobs. It's a quarter-inch thick. They have gone through a lot of information, gone to great lengths to provide this information, and they've come up with these facts saying 34,000 people are going to get put to work in one way or another from this casino issue.
And what they're trying to do, and maybe you can explain it a little bit better, Pat, but it seems to me what they're trying to do is they're trying to play semantics in spinning their little tail here by saying that the study concludes that at no time, meaning any one single individual time, will 34,000 jobs be created. They don't want to acknowledge the fact that, well, it doesn't have to happen at the same time because some of them are going to be early in the construction phase. Some of them are going to be after the fact, after the building is done, so that people who are actually working at the casinos. So they're playing semantics here.
That's exactly right. No construction project has the full workforce there all at one time. Maybe on one day they peak out and it goes up or down from there. That's just the way construction is. They are temporary. People in construction know exactly what they're getting into here when they do this. There's going to be some people on that project from beginning to end. There's going to be some people show up there for a day, maybe to unload something like a big air conditioner unit and put it on the roof or something. And that's just how construction is. They don't go into detail and talk about the number of permanent jobs that are going to be there, the exact kind of jobs that match the structure of the workforce in Ohio.
Why don't you do that for us right now, Pat? I mean, you guys represent Ohio's working men and women. Talk to me about that 34,000 figure. Give me a breakdown. How many of them are construction? How many of them are permanent? And what kinds of permanent jobs are we talking about?
I think basically not having a lot of these figures in front of me, we're talking about maybe 50-50, 60-40, something like that. There's going to be thousands of people, many thousands of people employed in these 4 different locations, and they're going to be service jobs. But are we going to put these kind of jobs down? These people are going to be out making a living. It's exactly the dynamic that they talk about that Ohio has for this. These people are not coming from out of state to do these jobs. These ads really insult Ohioans. They're making it clear that Ohioans are too stupid to either run the casinos or to construct them, and that's not the case.
Well, once again, talking about the way they portray this to the uneducated voter and viewer of these commercials or listener on the radio of these commercials, and I don't mean uneducated as an insult. I mean the people who just don't know all of these facts, people who are ignorant of the facts. Pat, they're making it sound like you and other casino supporters think that Ohioans are too stupid to be able to do those jobs, and that's why you're going to hire in specialists and professionals from Atlantic City and from Las Vegas to come in here and work in these casinos.
There'll undoubtedly be some people, that come in and train them how they want cards dealt, how to do this game, that game. Those are going to be experienced people. They will become Ohioans if they stay here in length of time. They're going to be, citizens of the state. But that's not to say that the thousands of people that's going to be working there permanently are going to be imported. They simply will not be. And that was one of the reasons, the ads that they put on TV, when I first saw them, I thought, well, is there more to this? I kept waiting for more, and, I thought they were fairly lame, but, ultimately it sinks in. It's a big lie, and, I have filed a complaint with the Elections Commission today on the fact that these are just an outright lie, and we shouldn't allow this kind of campaigning to be going on when it's going to mean jobs to a lot of people in Ohio.
Pat Manzi joining us, Executive Secretary-Treasurer of the Columbus and Central Ohio Building and Construction Trades Council. According to the numbers I've seen, roughly 19,000 of the 34,000 jobs would be construction, and about 15,000 then would be permanent casino jobs. Do we have any idea of what kind of pay these jobs would be? That's another thing opponents of casinos always say, is they'll say, okay, it's going to bring jobs, but it's going to be minimum wage jobs, cleaning hotel bedrooms and these sorts of things.
Well, if Truth PAC wants to quote the study does say these jobs are going to be, let's say, $30,000 a year jobs. They are service jobs. But I can tell you, having done some independent study of my own, having read an article out of the Dayton Daily News, in Detroit, people up there doing this kind of work are making closer to $50,000 a year.
Well, and the other thing, too, is, I'm not trying to be dismissive in any way of what anybody makes, but how many people sitting at home right now, especially here in the city of Cleveland and in Cuyahoga County, where the job figures are much, much worse than they are in the rest of the state and much, much worse in the state than they are in the rest of the country, how many people here would kill for a $30,000 a year job right now? I mean, looking at the number of people on the unemployment line and the number of people making less than that, making minimum wage, well below the poverty level, who $30,000 would be an enormous increase.
Nobody else is offering anything in Ohio. Who else is coming to Ohio and saying, hey, let me spend $1 billion? They're going to spend a lot more than $1 billion. But let me spend $1 billion here. In exchange, I'm going to give you tax revenue. I'm going to give you jobs. Nobody. Everybody that comes to this state, they always have their hand out. They want some sort of tax abatement for this or grant for that. These guys are bringing new money to the state of Ohio. They're asking the citizens of Ohio to support this issue and keep their money here and their entertainment dollar here. I just don't see anybody else coming up with another plan. If there's another one, speak about it.
There's not. I mean, last year, obviously, we talked about the My Ohio Now people. They were going to spend $600-700 million to put just the one down there in kind of south central Ohio, and this would obviously expand it all over the state, which I think is better. But going back again to Truth PAC and the other individuals who are opposed to this, they're spending. You mentioned spending $1 billion to do this project. They're spending millions, and I don't have that exact figure in front of me, but I know how much TV commercials cost, and I know on average what radio commercials cost, and the frequency frequency that I'm seeing them running these ads, these misinformative ads, I know that they're going to be spending millions if they keep this pace up between now and November. That should really tell voters, shouldn't it, Pat, all they need to know about how financially vested they are in defeating this thing so that they can keep people, like Jeff Jacobs can keep people flowing down to West Virginia to his casinos.
It's a lucrative business. You know, the money is going out of state. We're not talking morality of the issue of gambling here. We're talking about jobs. You know, the people of Ohio, you know, with their feet when they jump on that charter bus, have already given a signal as to what they consider what's right or what's wrong about gambling.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. But you know what? There is a morality and ethical issue here, and that needs to be addressed because they are addressing it. I don't mean the Truth Pack people in this one. I'm talking about, you know, groups like the Ohio Roundtable, more conservative organizations. I'm a conservative, by the way, and I completely part company with the Roundtable and others. George Voinovich, who's a Republican and by you know some measure is a conservative. These people are bringing the moral and the ethical implications up and saying that this is bad for families, it's bad for individuals, it'll cost people their jobs, it'll cost people their mortgages, it'll have their cars repossessed because they can't push away from the gaming tables. So you are, and when I say you, I mean others who are backing issue 3, you're going to have to overcome that obstacle if you really want to pass this thing.
Well, not to really expand this discussion into another area of gambling, but you know, I want to point something out. I don't think there's anything more addictive than the little scratch-off cards that the state of Ohio presently has in every gas station and convenience store. And there's no provisions for anybody to fund any sort of Gamblers Anonymous or anything like this. There is in this proposal, you know, some of the revenue generated is going to go towards any program that may be needed to help people correct an addiction that they might suddenly discover they have, you know. But with the population of Ohio, right now, you've got the lottery. If that's becoming a problem, it's a problem for, you know, a poorer class of people who can't afford to give their money away.
Yeah, I agree with you. There are people, you know, the way I see it is this. People decide for themselves how much disposable income they have, right, Pat? And
Yes,
I'm talking about entertainment dollars. If they're going to Browns games, if they have season tickets to the Cavaliers or the Indians, or really they have season tickets to, you know, play one of the theaters in Playoff Square, they just like to spend money on things that entertain them, and they decide how far their budget allows them to do that. Why should gambling be treated any differently in terms of allowing people the freedom to decide how much money they can afford to spend on their entertainment?
I don't know that it should. I mean, you know, I can tell you right now that the Building Trades Council in Columbus, and as are in the other major cities of Ohio, in fact, throughout the whole state, all the Building Trades Councils, I believe, have endorsed this proposal. You know, they know that it means jobs in Ohio, whether it's construction jobs or permanent jobs. Something has to happen to turn things around in this state, and I don't see anybody else doing it at the moment.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, everybody's crying about jobs. Here's 34,000 of them that can be created, 19,000 right out of the chute with construction and getting these projects underway, 15,000 permanent casino jobs after that. How anybody could turn that away over a moral objection right now? To me, a moral objection would be letting all of these families starve or sit there on unemployment until their benefits run out when we could be putting them back to work. That, to me, is morally repugnant. So,
if this was a $1 billion program to build a highway or a hospital with public revenue and public bonds, every politician in the state would be crawling down my neck to have it supported.
You're exactly right. Pat Manzi from the Columbus and Central Ohio Building and Construction Trades Council. We appreciate the time. Thanks very much, Pat.
Thank you.
All right, take care. All right, we're going to get you your phone calls, 216-5.